Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the Litleo in the Retro Cup. This is going to be a very interesting video because Litleo is one of the only Pokemon that's going to be able to counter the Froslass completely. This Pokemon going to be able to resist both the fast and both the charge moves there as well, which is going to be very cool. I literally spent I think like around 600k Stardust to build this Pokemon. It is at least the rank 1 version for this Pokemon, so if you appreciate the effort, please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Would appreciate it. But now let's take a look at the Litleo, and we're going to encounter here in the first game already a Froslass, which you're going to be able to punish fairly decently here with our Litleo. We can go ahead and now farm them all the way down. We can take the move, and you're going to see right now as well, Avalanche still going to do some damage, but not enough to even two-shot us, as we will be able to now go ahead and go for the Flame Charge, trying to get the final shield, which we can do here right now, and we can do a ton of damage already with Incinerate, and we can knock them out with one Crunch. Crunch plus the Flame Charge is actually really good coverage for this Pokemon. Would be of course cool if this Pokemon could learn Body Slam or something eventually. Having it then Double Step would be really cool. But here, this next opponent going to have a very decent lead for us, and now a Lantern in the back, which we will be able to hard counter with our good friend the Broguiere. Thing here is that I swapped out fairly late, which gave the opponent a lot of energy, which is definitely not really nice for me, because now they can go for another move. But because I know that I'm going to be able to beat both like with both of my Pokemon, the Chestnut there, I will be able to just let the move go through and go back into my Froslass, farm up a ton of energy. I take the damage all day here because I just have to get rid of like shields for the opponent or whatever, or depending on what they come into, and they come into one Froslass here right now. We have so much energy stored right now that we're going to be able to go for 2 Shadow Balls back to back basically, which will allow us to get ball shields from the opponent. And like this, we're going to be in a prime position where we can just sweep with our Litleo endgame. And this is exactly what we're going to do here. 2-shot Litleo against 2 Pokemon that are weak to fire. And the opponent realizes this as well, and they're going to forfeit. Next opponent, Deoxys defense in the lead. This is very decent for us as well, of course, as we are a Ghost type. But of course, they also have access to the move Rock Slide, which is going to hurt quite a bit. But this player is going straight for the Psycho Boost. Very decent play by them, because now they're going to go ahead and go into their Lickitung. But also, Lickitung is one of the Pokemon that Litleo can break. Lickitung basically does most of the damage with the Licks here, which is going to be double resisted from Litleo. Of course, Poison still going to hurt, but having basically no fast move pressure makes the Lickitung definitely not as big of a threat here for the Litleo, as he can take another charge move from the opponent as well. And we can realign, which can be very decent for me as well, as they're going to see now that the opponent came into, again, their Deoxys. I will be able to go for at least one Crunch and hope for the debuff here right now. 30% chance. Do we get it? We do not get it. And like this, they are not in range for one Avalanche yet, but they're going to be in range for a Shadow Ball still. Let's see, Psycho Boost coming through, and they're going to swap out again. They're going to go into an Aurorus. I should have swapped out most likely right away. Like this, we're going to now get the damage onto them, but we have to try to farm them all the way down in order to win this game here right now. Can we farm them down with the Dragon Breath of the Broguiere here? Let's see, we cannot. They still barely get to the move. I need like one more fast move to knock them out. I can still get them fairly low, but this is a game here right now, because the Aurorus is kind of difficult to deal with this team here for sure. It's a core breaker for this team, so definitely be careful about this one, but I didn't encounter it too often. Here, this is one of the cases where it's kinda biased, because I played the same team as well, kinda. I played Cresselia plus Zango Say Swap. That's FP6 legend team that you already saw on my channel, maybe if you watched the video. But this team had the Lickitung in the back. And I played for exactly that reason. Like, I expected that the opponent has a Lickitung in the back, so I went ahead and tried to get everything onto the Litleo. Turns out they're going to go into the Cresselia here right now, which kinda also proves the point that they're going to have most likely a very good answer against Froslass in the back. But let's take a look at this one here right now. We're going to see that the opponent going to go for the Moonblast. All moves are resisted here. There's no way that a Cresselia runs the Future Sight in this current meta, so that's very safe. That's a little bit different in the Ultra League. They run Future Sight quite often there. And as you can see here already, I was wrong. They are not running the Pokemon that I expected to. They are running Dunsparce. And honestly, I most likely should have stayed in here and just used all my shields on this boy. But I didn't, and I went ahead and let this move go through and just go ahead and go into my Froslass in order to go for my own Avalanche. And I still should be able to survive on charge move here, maybe, but we don't really have to risk it because we still have 2 shields left, which is really good for me, as you can see here right now. I will be able to get to a move right now, but I expect the opponent that they want to catch, and you see them not going for one fast move, so I'd expected that they would want to catch, and they definitely tried to, but it didn't work against me, so we were able to win this game fairly easily. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have, the Froslass against us, which will be also not really ideal for us, because we kind of want to have this Pokemon, of course, against our Litleo. As you're going to see here right now, the opponent is going to go ahead and go for their Avalanche here, which we will shield up, and they're going to go for Deoxys. That's kind of an interesting swap here, as I didn't really expect this one at all. We can go for the Shadow Ball and we can nearly knock them out. I'm going to use another shield here because this will allow me to go ahead and farm them all the way down, get enough energy now to get to another Shadow Ball against the opponent's Froslass, and I would even be able to maybe swap out here if I wanted to into my Litleo, but I'm actually going to stay in here and wait until the opponent going to throw their own charge move, as now I will be able to realign my Pokemon. This should be in a very decent spot for us right now. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to see the last Pokemon from the opponent. It's going to be a double, and I can swap out into my Dragonair. We just have to get the opponent into a range where we can go ahead and go for one Flame Charge in order to knock them out, and we're actually going to be able to still get to the Body Slam here, which is really good for us, as it's going to get them super low, and we can even farm them down. Shadow Dragonair so overpowered, as he can go for one Flame Charge here, and this should be all it takes to knock out the opponent's Froslass. And again, Litleo is just destroying those Froslasses here. It is kind of wild how strong this Pokemon is, as you can now go ahead and go into the next opponent. We're going to have a horrific lead here in the Lantern. That's exactly what we don't want to face. This is a Core Breaker as well for the lead, as well as for my Pokemon in the back with the Litleo. But we will be able to still get a shield here at least, which is going to be fairly decent. But for whatever reason, I kind of want to keep my Froslass around. For actually the main reason that most likely this is going to be the team that I showcased earlier already. But no, it's not. It's going to be a Noctowl, so I guess it's kind of fine. But they might have something like an Altaria or like a Kingdra in the back, which is a very common core. So I'm going to keep my good friend, the Dragonair here alive, and I'm going to use a shield for this Pokemon. I can go ahead and go for the Body Slam against the opponent here, and as you're going to see right now, this is going to knock them out, and we can realign, which is going to be fairly decent for us, and they're going to have a Lickitung in the back. Actually fairly okay for us, so we can now go ahead and go to the Litleo, but they have a ton of energy now, which can be a problem for sure. As we now get the Body Slam onto us, we can go for one Flame Charge eventually, but they're going to swap out into the Lantern. And I should have stayed in, went for a Crunch first, but now I'm going to shield up the move. I can go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball against the opponent. Maybe should have went for the Avalanche, because they're most likely going to bait this, shield this move up anyway. So this was maybe a kind of misplay by me. They're going to knock me out before I can get to another move, but I can still win if I can get a Crunch debuff here. This is all it needs, 30% chance to win this game. And of course, we don't get it. So yeah, this is kind of course, unfortunate. It's a 30% chance, so it's more likely to not happen than it would be to happen, so definitely okay for me. But I think we might have been able to win this game if I was able to get the debuff there. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have the Venusaur in the lead, which is going to be a Pokemon that our entire team wins against. Like, the entire team has a great matchup against this Pokemon. We use a shield here against the Frenzy Plant, but we're gonna get a ton of energy here, and we're gonna get out the Toxapex. This is really good for me because our team is kind of weak to Toxapex as well. Our lead is fairly fine against it. Our Sayswap is also very neutral against it, but of course our Litleo does not want to face this water tank here, as they're going to now get a shield from the opponent and still get to a charge move here, which is really nice on the CMP type. This Body Slam going to knock them out, and in comes sadly now the Aurorus, one of the Pokemon that are going to core break again the lead, as well as the Pokemon in the back here with the Litleo, which is kind of unfortunate. This is the thing anyway, there was no better option in my opinion. There were no real decent options for me to have it as like something in the lead, because I needed an answer for still Dragon type Pokemon. This is the main reason why I went for the lead of Froslass, as well as I needed an answer for Fighting type Pokemon. And here, for whatever reason, my opponent just decided to not throw it all. I thought they would swap out after my first Incinerate. They definitely were over the move already, and like this I can just farm them all the way down to win the game. So don't mind me here, but this is not how it's supposed to happen. My opponent literally screwed up there, wanted to give me the win. I don't know yet. But neither, definitely thanks if you try to give me the win there. But this is not how it's supposed to happen. The opponent should have won this game for sure. Let's take a look at the next opponent. They're going to have a fairly awkward lead for us, but in comes now the Toxapex, where at least here we're going to be able to go for some Body Slam spam. Sadly, we're going to put them into range where we cannot farm them down yet with our Froslass, but it's definitely still our best shot to go for into the Froslass here, trying to take the move here from the opponent. Brian doesn't actually do as much damage as I expected, and I guess we can just go ahead and shield up. Oh, actually, I'm going to let this move go through here and just try to get as much energy as I can. I tried to swap out here first, but I didn't then. I now have 2 avalanches stored. This might be decent for us, but sadly, we're gonna get hard countered again. We're going to have a counter user against our normal type fire Pokemon, and this is not looking good. Again, we don't get a debuff. I don't think I did get a single crunch debuff. Funnily enough, I actually played 2 different Night Slash users before for around like 6 sets total, and I didn't get a single Night Slash buff as well, and I think I faced 2 Night Slash users against me and they got both the Night Slash buff immediately. It was a pleasure to play against those players. But yeah, here we're gonna at least be able to go for another crunch. If this is gonna get the debuff, I actually should be able to one-shot the opponent with just 1 avalanche, but nope, I don't get the debuff again, which is of course unfortunate, because like this, there's not a lot that I can do here about this. I can go ahead and go for 1 avalanche, they're going to shield this move up, and I'm fairly certain I would have been able to one-shot the opponent from this range after a debuff against the Lickitung. But yeah, this didn't happen again, so kinda unfortunate. Again, if you had some more luck, we would have been most likely fine. Again, the Pokemon that I don't want to face, the Aurorus. This Pokemon is actually running Rock Throw, which is a really spicy moveset, and I kinda want to try out the opponent's team here as well. Seems like a really cool team, and like, it's not all that, like, it's actually fairly rare where I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. And I feel like it's a really cool idea to run Rock Throw variant of the, yeah, I forgot the name actually, Aurorus, of the Aurorus there. Yeah, it's just a cool tech here. As you can see, it does a ton of damage with a fast move already. And it's going to be even worse for me to deal with both of my Pokemon that I still have. As my Litleo going to not have the greatest time here either. This Pokemon gonna get hit by the Weather Ball, and in comes now a Dragonite, which kinda makes me already forfeit. But maybe I get the debuff here with a crunch where it literally doesn't matter. Let's take a look at this one. We are gonna get the debuff. Never mind, you actually got a debuff here, which literally had no impact at all. So that's always great to get the debuffs where it literally doesn't matter. Next opponent, we're going to see another Froslass Mirror. Our Froslass has, I think, like 1 level higher than usual Froslass. Like, I think it's like 1 level in general up over the rank 1, which gives it a few more wins actually. I actually have a rank 1 Froslass that I could build, but this one wins more matchups, so that's kind of funny. Here we were able to call the move from the opponent, we will call the avalanche from the opponent, which will now allow us to definitely dictate this matchup. I can either go for a shield advantage or I can go ahead and go for the switched advantage. I'm going to take the switch advantage here as well as some energy advantage because I feel like this is the better shout here. As you're going to see, I can overfarm a little bit because the opponent went for 1 avalanche that I didn't win for. So here, Shadow Ball going to knock out the opponent. We have some energy and in comes the Kingdra where I don't get the energy off. And now I just have to hit the Body Slam. I will outspeed them, but they can catch the move perfectly onto Credilli. Great counting by the opponent here. Very, very great counting in general. Like, that definitely helped them out quite a bit. I'm forced to catch the move here. I was hoping that I would get the fast move through, which really would have helped me out quite a bit there, but I didn't. And because of this, we don't get to our charge move, and because of this, we will not be able to knock them out. So again, there was some kind of unlucky scenario there as well. I knew that they would get to the move here faster than, like, if they didn't have Rock Slide before, so I know that they needed only 3 fast moves there. But there was nothing I could have done other than building up to 2 charge moves at this point of time, so I went for my only win con if they maybe misclick and overtap. But yeah, horrific lead again. All the Rock types are coming up against me here right now, but look at this matchup. This is why you run Dragon Breath over Dragon Tail. You're going to see here right now, I can actually knock them out at the same time as they knock me out, while still having, while having the shield advantage now, which is really cool. And they're gonna go ahead and go into the Altaria, which is even better. So, for the final game here, we're going to now encounter the Altaria, which is gonna go down immediately. And the Regirock, all of a sudden, after all those circumstances, does not seem to be as scary anymore, as you now will be able to go for some avalanches against them. And this avalanche is going to do a ton of damage against them. Like, honestly, it would do so much. But they're going to shield this move up, and I can just go ahead and catch a move on my Litleo. And because I have a move stored now onto my good friend Froslass, I will be able to now just go ahead and go for a crunch and put them into range for it. I will be able to win CMP. And this final game will be ours. Again, a debuff that literally doesn't matter at all. But yeah, this is going to be it for today's video. Litleo was a fun Pokemon to use. Very expensive though, but I still like those Pokemon, like those small Pokemon that actually can do something. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.